So I'm going to show you a slight difference here in print quality when it comes to ailerons and flaps. Okay, so this set here on the right was printed with Cura. Okay, notice it uses a little extra material there. It kind of, it balls it all up and everything on the print to make it make everything just stick better, and maybe that's a bug catcher on the airplane for when the thing is flying. I don't know. All right, so anyhow, that's Cura. That is Simplify3d. And I'm going to tell you, I was talking on the phone to a buddy of mine last night on a phone call that lasted till about 1 o'clock this morning. And after I hung up from him and I went to go to bed, I realized that I'd forgotten to print these flaperons for another Pantera, Eclipse and Pantera. And so I jumped on Simplify3d. I loaded the file for the flaperons, all the files, and I went through the profile really quick, made a few little changes to what I thought, basically would replicate my settings for Cura, because I have used Cura for years now, and I have felt like I've had some really good prints with Cura. But I will say, on a lot of parts like this, like these flaperons, I hate to say it, but this is kind of normal. I get this, you get the stringing, and so you're like, okay, we're going to lower the heat down and increase the travel move, to help with the stringing and set the retraction better. And then pretty soon you have it cool enough to where you're not getting stringing anymore. And then you're having layer bond strength issues, So it's just been a constant fight with Cura. Now, I downloaded Simplify3d late yesterday evening. And so this was the second print, okay, that I did with Simplify. Okay, and then we're going to walk over here. Okay, and this was the very first print that I did with Simplify. It's not perfect. I've got a little bit of stringing in there, some bridging that I could probably tweak some settings. But this is the first time that I've ever gotten these 3D lab print fuselage sections to print with the actual internal structures. Okay, when you try to print this in Cura, it prints the outline, but it doesn't print the ribs, I guess you'd call it. It reminds me of ribs with lightning holes in it. Cura won't print these internal structures. And I've heard people saying, oh, you gotta, load an old version of Cura, and then you'll have some options that you can change. And so anyhow, so in talking with 3D Lab Print, they're like, no, Cura will never be able to print everything exactly like it's supposed to, because 3D Lab Print uses Simplify3d in their designs. And so anyhow, there's options that you can only get with Simplify to make these parts print correctly, and at least that's what they say. So if you are a Cura master and you've been using it for 20 years and you have all these tricks figured out, that is awesome. I commend you for that. But we're talking Simplify3d that I just downloaded yesterday, and people are telling me, the user interface is a little difficult on Simplify. Well, it's not really. If you've been using Cura, Simplify3d, I'll just switch over here real quick. Simplify is pretty easy if you've been using Cura. You have profiles, and I'm setting my profiles up according to airplane parts that I commonly print. So I have a profile here for, they call them process. So like I have landing gear, TPU tires, propellers, ailerons, and flaps. Okay, so those are the processes. And under, so for instance, I can go under fuselage, and under fuselage, I actually have a separate, okay, hold on, I'm going to click on it. Take me a second here. Okay, so let me just go to fuselage. I'm going to double click that. Okay, so then that opens up my settings page here. And okay, so if you look at the top, if I can zoom in just a little bit here. You look at the top, so this is for fuselage pieces, right? And then under this profile, I'm going to click that. So under that profile, then I have a drop down where I can choose which printer I'm using. Is it my artillery? Is it the SV03? Here was a SV03 profile that I modified actually when I was doing the flaperons, so I need to actually remove that. And then down here, so I have one, you know, on the SV03 for flaperons. Okay, so what's kind of cool is that if I want to switch this from the Soval SV03, say I'm going to print flaperons or ailerons on the Sidewinder, okay? Well, I can actually, I can take this profile, okay, that I want. I'm going to cancel this. I can go up to File. I can export this profile. Okay, let's go over here. Select the profile that you want to export. So I can take the profile that I made for flaps and ailerons, and I can export that file just to a folder, and then I can go in to the artillery Sidewinder, and I can import the profile to the Sidewinder. So you can copy profiles from one printer to another. That way you don't have to go in and, you know, say retype a certain profile for every 3D printer that you have. So, I mean, I have 6 3D printers, and if I had to go in and do an aileron profile for 6 different printers, you know, it'd take me hours to do that. So it's pretty cool that I can just export the profiles, you know, just like any other. I mean, Cura will do that too. You can export profiles and import them, and so anyhow, but you can do that here. And anyhow, so in the reading that I did yesterday, they said that you know, it's going to be hard to beat the quality of print that you get with Simplify3d. And, you know, for 3 years, I've been hearing everybody, you know, talk about, you know, Simplify, and there's just really no alternative to it that works as well. And that may or may not be true, but all I'm saying is that I downloaded the program. It was $150, and that's a lot of money to me right now. Sometimes to some people, $150 is a little bit of money. But, I mean, am I 3D printing for a reason, or am I just printing little figurines to go on a shelf, you know? So yeah, no, I'm not printing figurines to go on a shelf. I'm printing airplanes that are sold to, you know, the public. And so I actually need the quality to be there. So anyhow, okay. So we'll just walk back over here to the SV03 one more time. So, you know, so that was yesterday. I set it up, I hit print. I was working on some other stuff, and, you know, it was getting close to being done, and dang it if I didn't look over, and I heard some funny noise and scratching sound, and, you know, it was dragging stuff across the bed, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm so fed up with Cura and not being able to print ailerons and you know, real small, lightweight parts like that. I mean, you know, this whole pile right here only, you know, it only weighs a couple of grams, and that's how airplane parts are. So I thought, I'm just sick and tired of fighting with Cura and struggling with it and wasting filament and having prints turn out bad. So I bit the bullet. I bought Simplify3d, and you know, the first 2 prints that I've done with it have turned out pretty amazing, and I'm really happy with it. So okay, this video is not sponsored by Simplify3d, but tell you what, if you guys want to kick back a little of that $150, I sure wouldn't say no. So anyhow, thank you. Thank you to Simplify3d. It's obvious that something you're doing is working. And who knows, maybe open source Cura will someday catch up, and you know, 3D printing is going to evolve, and things are going to change, and things are going to get better. It's going to get easier for somebody to buy a 3D printer off of the shelf, you know, just off the shelf, and plug a file in it and just hit a print button, and they won't, you know, the printer someday will set all the settings, probably depending on what you're printing, and you won't be able to do anything but tell it to start or stop. You know, who knows where it's going. But okay, that's all for now. Just thought I'd share that with you, and y'all have a great day. It's really rainy here outside, so I'm probably not doing anything outside today. It's a good day to get caught up on some of this stuff. So all right, thanks again, and if you have some sunshine today, get out and enjoy it. And life is not all about work, so go have some fun too. See you next time. Bye.